it's time to look at some Portkeys. Welcome magical people to Zealman's Wizarding World. Things are a little bit different, obviously doing web camera thing, and it's resist, so it means we're looking at Portkeys. And this is a special little one we've been holding back on. This is for the Hogwarts for the Holidays Brilliant event. As you may know, there are 2 new Portkeys for part 1, but there's also 2 new Portkeys for part 2, and there's 4 Portkeys. I wonder what other 4s there are in Harry Potter. So yes, major spoiler alert, we are looking at the 4 new Portkeys, and we're starting right now. So here we are, Portkey number 1. It is the Slytherin common room, which you may recognise from the movies, and it is pretty groovy. So we are going to take a wee look around. Now I am assuming you're going to be stuck in this middle area. In Portkey itself, I reckon we'll be stuck here as our point of view. What else do we have? Now this is of course a bit of a weird rendering. Because it's not done in the game, so things will look a little bit different and lit differently to probably look quite nice in the game. But we have a mysterious blank portrait there. Got some candles and some nice green lanterns. You can see the big tapestry in the back. It's sort of details you kind of miss at the movie unless you sit down and look at it. But they don't look very happy, chappies, do they? In that one. Perhaps they're muggles being oppressed or something weird like that. As we come around, we have like a study table, some leather chairs, so very functional, I guess, and some candles on the table and some lamps. The tapestry continues. In the back here is the under the lake. That's why it looks like water. Be interesting to see what it looks like in the game, whether it be static or actually be a bit more dynamic. We don't know. Got some bookcases. I love the pillars, they're pretty smart. Nice chandelier. Of course, this is in a dungeon, which why you have the rough rock stuff going on. It's an interesting use of leaves here as well. Another table for study. Another massive window under the lake, which is cool. Lots of leather chairs. There's a goblet there. Something to powder your nose with, I guess, after a hard day studying. And of course, there is the Slytherin scarf. Yes, this looks a bit weird because it's just the way that Autodesk renders these things. I'm not 100% sure that the renders you get we pull from the game are like 100% accurate either. There might be early versions. We have a nice festive skull on the top there. I don't know whose that is. But he looks kind of happy, so that's always a good thing, I guess. The Slytherin crest at the top there. Lots more tapestries and a globe. So moving along a bit, we have our globe, lovely jubbly, and we have this funky area here. Oh, we have chess. Look at that. I think this is Salazar Slytherin as well. We actually have a chess set here, and well, I don't know anything about chess, so I don't know who's winning. I can't tell you. We can move up here as well. Okay, so we're now up on the stage bit. This could actually also be your Portkey landing point. It would be a bit annoying because you wouldn't be able to see much past the pillars and stuff like that if you landed here. It'd be much better if you actually landed in the middle. But we see we still have our portrait following us around of all those unhappy looking people. And we have some chairs and stuff. Lots more pillars to hold the roof up, which just looks pretty cool. That's about it. There don't seem to be a way out of this room, so I don't know how they go to bed. So, well, guess it's as good as mine for that one. Right, so we should move on to our next common room. I think Slytherin's common room is really actually quite cool. So let's move on to our next one. Okay, so now we're in the Hufflepuff common room. This one renders a little odd for me. We get these weird like shade things, which I think are to do with the light, but they're a little bit broken in this kind of view. But we have some nice yellow comfy sofas and some cushions. So clearly Hufflepuffs like to sit on the floor. Nice gold goblet there. Another stack of books for studying, of course. We actually have the badger on the wall there. I think that might be the door to the dorms. We have a Helga Hufflepuff. She's kind of floating there at the moment. I'm assuming she's supposed to be on the table. We'll see what we get there. There's a nice Hufflepuff throw here. It's quite groovy. Won't mind that. Even though I'm not Hufflepuff. And a table for study. Of course, it has lots of food. Hufflepuffs are famed for eating. The entrance to this is through the kitchens, if I remember correctly. So there's no surprise that there's lots of food around. And some plants and stuff, because of reasons. I can't remember now. We have the Hufflepuff logo above the fireplace. And just plenty of foliage everywhere. So really nice and fresh air, I believe. So let's scoot over to this side. So it's definitely a smaller common room than the Slytherins, but you can see the entrance there. This comes from the kitchens, and we have more books for study, sofas, and another exit. I could guess is the girls' dorms. One's girls, one's guys, I assume. Don't I make that mistake? And yeah, that's about it for this one. But I think it's quite cool. Definitely lots of plants and stuff. So of course now we move on to the best common room. This is the Ravenclaw one, and it is exactly the same as the one in Hogwarts Mysteries from what I can tell. You've got the giant stone Helga Hufflepuff. In the centre we have Rowena Ravenclaw with the Ravenclaw's diadem on her head. That well-known diadem Horcrux. We have a Ravenclaw scarf hanging around. I mean, these people just leave their clothes everywhere, right? And we, as you could tell, being a Ravenclaw common room, we have way more books than any other common room. Because we're the ultra nerds, of course. We have another study table here with a sleeping portrait. And lots more guys over here. We have lots of portraits in this. I'm guessing that portraits are part of being a nerd. Much more functional sofa. Some throw over the top. And a footrest, which is quite nice. I like a good puff. So, lots more goblets knocking around, lots more paintings of random people who have no idea who they are. And this globe is pretty cool. It's like a star globe. It's kind of like the opposite of a, well, globe. It kind of points at the sky, which is quite groovy. Talking and pointing at the sky, look at this roof. I'm dying to know what the red blobs are. In the game. I'm not sure if it's going to be like festive or whatever. Oh, I've just noticed the giant rooks over here, ravens, which really should be eagles, but anyway. And there is the crest above. Cool. And then down here, we have the stairs, which actually goes there. But it should take you to the dorms, I believe, down the stairs. So that is Ravenclaw. Of course, there's only one left now, isn't there? So here we are, the last one. It is, of course, Gryffindor's common room, the one we get to see in the movies quite a lot, and the one I've seen in the studio tour, which is the actual set, which is really groovy. Lots of paintings. These are actually quite faded in the actual set, which is quite cool. There's a few bits around, so we can have a look around this one. There's a few little details in here which we don't have in the other one. So let's start by the fireplace, where all good things happen. So here we have our fireplace with the Gryffindor logo. It seems to be quite large on the fireplace for the Gryffindors. Not to say they're big-headed or anything. But we have a nice picture of Quidditch going on here. Clearly a favourite pastime of the Gryffindors. And those really nice deep red sofas. Of course, someone else has carelessly left a Gryffindor scarf. And got some drinks and some wood for the fire, and a nice trunk sitting there as well. Let's nip over to this table on the left and see what's going on there. So here we have the table on the left, and it has the funky radio, which is actually in the studio tour. So if you go to studio tour, it's actually sitting on the desk there as well. This is a Wizarding Wireless. Not quite sure how it's supposed to work with that funky great big light bulb thingy, but who knows? It's just magic. It's magic. Everything's magic. And we have some really unhappy people playing chess, having a good old think about it. Another sleeping Asian dude, and Merlin, I think, is in the middle there. I don't know who that dude is. And where is Godric Gryffindor? Ah! That's him. That's Godric Gryffindor, I believe. I'm not quite sure what it says at the top there. But yeah, I think it's him. He's got the logos of the school. Like he originally started the school. Can't remember here. Ooh, we have posters here. Let's have a look at those. See that? It's the first time actually looking at this in detail. Let's have a look at our posters, shall we? So looking at our Gryffindor notice board, I don't think it crops up much in the movies. Maybe it does for the Umbridge stuff. Not quite sure. But we can actually see we have daily prophets here with the Calamity, Missionary Confronts Confusing Conundrum, the Quibbler with Spectre Specs, the one we're all very familiar with, and some other blurry stuff that we can't read. So this is Gryffindor Common Room as it is present day. Very interesting. I'll leave Lynette to come up with some crazy stuff about that. I do love her theories and stuff. So yeah, I think is that another Wizarding Wireless? Oh yeah, there are actually two Wizarding Wirelesses. One on the table there and one over there. Cool. We also have like the staging bits. So you have two staircases here. One for each dormitory, and I believe they go up. Okay, so the staircases kind of go halfway up, but we can see what it's actually like to look over the balcony. Okay, so now we're at the edge. It took me a while to get there, and this is what it's looked like to look over the balconies on the top of the staircases down the Common Room, which is quite cool. I always want to know what it looked like to do this, but that is in the movies, which I hopefully will find a clip on and put it right now.
Pardon its heads, or maybe you didn't notice. There were 3.
It was standing on a trapdoor, which means it wasn't there by accident. It's guarding something.
Guarding something?
That's right. Now, if you two don't mind, I'm going to bed before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed. Or worse, expelled.
She needs to sort out her priorities.
Okay, so that's that. Right, I think that's about it for the common rooms, I believe. And so this is Hogwarts for the holidays. These are our Portkeys, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in game because obviously it'll be better lit and everything else, and all the effects will be there, and the fireplaces will be lit and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to those. So next thing we have coming up is the deep dive into the event itself. Obviously these don't come out at the same time as everybody else's because I'm not sponsored by Niantic. I'm an independent creator, which is quite groovy for me, I guess. It allows me to do things like the Portkey stuff, and we could do all the dialogue really early. So I'll be doing a deep dive into every single task and how to do them most effectively. We'll also be comparing them to the previous events because they are very same now. But there are little subtle changes, and we'll have a look at any changes that there may be, and there are some. And they've switched up a little bit for this one. Oh, that deep dive will also include all the descriptions for the foundables. We don't normally click on them because we're playing the game, but there are a lot of pretty cool descriptions of each foundable, which give us some clues, which is quite cool. And then on Monday, hopefully Monday, we'll be doing the dialogue video for part 1. We'll be going through all the dialogue ahead of time, so if you want to see that, that's also another Resist video there. It's always very handy at the end of the event, if you don't want spoilers, to come back to and review as well. Especially in case you missed any. So until next time, brush up on your spells, get your wands ready, we'll see you tonight.